Understanding how a team operates is critical to guiding it toward a desired outcome. While no two teams are the same, there are some general characteristics that determine whether that team will be successful or not. Leadership and team dynamics are a hot topic of research and study because understanding and reinforcing positive methods and eliminating or reducing detrimental methods can increase the chances for group success. One researcher named Bruce Tuckman was interested in studying how a successful team operates from beginning to end. His research became the foundation for a leadership model we now call the Tuckman ladder of team development. In the Tuckman ladder, there are 5 stages a successful team will go through: forming, storming, norming, performing, and finally mourning or adjourning. Each of these stages consists of various actions or activities that teams generally perform, which will allow them to go from a loose collection of individuals to a singular unit moving towards a particular goal. The first stage is forming, which is exactly what it sounds like. The team forms and comes together. In this stage, the group may have a general understanding of what the project is, but they aren't aware of what they need to accomplish. The group is a loose collection of individuals who have their own motivations and reasons for wanting to be a part of the team, or perhaps they may not even have wanted to be part of the team, but were forced into joining for reasons outside of their control. In this stage, the team members may also believe that their personal goals overshadow the overall team goal. An example of the forming stage is at the beginning of the special program developed by Bunny Colvin at Tuckman Middle School. When the kids first enter the program, they are all brought there with no real idea of what the program is or why they're even there. As it's a new initiative, even the faculty don't really have an idea of how things are going to work. As is typical of the forming stage, it's a collection of individuals who have a mix of curiosity, anxiety, and even fear. This leads to immediate conflict as a group of kids consistently test boundaries and the teachers struggle to develop guidelines and establish order. Another example is Prez's class on the first day of school. The kids in the class already know each other, however, Prez is new to the group. As it's a new year with a new teacher, there is a lot of excitement. However, the kids aren't sure about Prez, who is equally unsure of his ability to help the kids. There is no understanding of how the year will work, as Prez has no idea of how to connect with the kids, and the kids have no interest in learning as the material is unrelatable and boring. The next stage in the process is storming. As the name may imply, it's a stage of rough waters and conflict. Tensions rise because team members begin to feel more comfortable voicing their opinions as they fight for dominance and influence. As the team progresses through this stage, it is important that the team should attempt to settle differences themselves. If a supervisor or person in authority squashes the conflict without allowing the team to have a chance to sort things out on their own, it may allow feelings to fester, leading to problems down the road. The supervisor or person in authority should only step in when the conflict becomes detrimental to the success of the team, or the conflicting parties cannot come to a resolution within a certain time frame. Let's take a look at the movie Remember the Titans. In the movie, Julius, played by Wood Harris, gets into a fight with Gary Bertier, the only All-American on the team. The two had been bickering back and forth the whole way to camp, to where it boiled over into a full-blown fistfight. Afterwards, they were simply scolded by their coach Herman Boone and dismissed. Boone made no attempt to end the conflict by telling them not to argue or fight again. Soon after, the two got into another argument after multiple practice days, which again ended in a stalemate. In the special program at Tuckman Middle School, conflict is a regular occurrence with the kids acting out towards each other and the teachers. There are physical fights, arguments, and frustration by the faculty, leading to questions of whether the program can even accomplish the most basic of goals. At this point in the program, the teachers were metaphorically throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something stuck. However, nothing seemed to resonate with the kids. In Prez's class, the kids also test the boundaries with him and each other. They challenge Prez as a former police officer and push his buttons by openly disrespecting him or cutting out of his class early. Prez loses complete control over his class as one girl nearly kills a fellow classmate for bullying her, and he struggles to find his place in the system as the school administration wants to prioritize the standardized state tests over the actual educational curriculum. None of these examples are uncommon for the storming stage. Both Prez and Bunny come to the same conclusion that all teams must come to if they want to move past this stage, which is realizing that if a team cannot find common ground and something to rally around like a goal, they may stay in this stage and be unable to accomplish anything productive. As a side note, the forming and storming stages often blend quickly into each other or occur simultaneously. Also, it's important to remember that this model doesn't just apply to a team where members do not know each other. It can also be applied to a team of people that have worked together in the past on a different project and are now focusing on a new endeavor. Teams can also go through versions of each stage, especially forming and storming, when a new member joins the team or someone leaves. The team is finally ready to progress to the next stage, norming, when members can resolve conflicts and begin to focus on achieving the overall team goal over their own personal goals. During the norming stage, team members feel a collective understanding of the team goal. It is usually characterized by a cool-down period following the conflict in the storming stage. Group members reconcile with each other, differences are put aside, and the team begins to learn from each other. In Remember the Titans, after Julius and Gary's argument over attitude and leadership, Gary takes an opportunity during a late-night session to criticize his friend Ray for not giving 100% effort in practice while simultaneously sticking up for Julius. When one of the assistant coaches attempts to intervene, Boone's assistant, Bill Yost, tells him to let them handle it. Boone gives Yost a grin and a look of approval as he knows it's important for the players to handle it between themselves. In Prez's class, he learns how to connect with the kids by teaching them math in a way that makes sense to them. Prez does something rather impressive. The fact that the kids were already deciding to spend their lunch in his room means they had already started to develop some level of trust in him, and when he realizes they are interested in learning about odds, he uses that to connect with them. Think about the New Day co-op for a second. As Prop Joe tells the group after they vote to go in together on the package, he says, "I gotta hand it to y'all for putting aside petty grievances. For a group of cold-ass gangsters, y'all carried it like Republicans." This is what the norming stage is in a nutshell. This doesn't mean there is no tension or conflict in the norming or performing stage. There definitely is. However, now that trust has been established and a common goal is driving the team, conflict is not as detrimental because people are more willing to find a solution rather than clinging to their own individual wants. As time goes on and the team becomes more cohesive, they enter the performing stage, which means that they are now performing at a high level and need very little outside direction. The team is now self-directed. During the performing stage, higher quality work is produced and the conflicts are resolved quickly. Any conflicts that do occur are handled within the team itself with minimal intervention because protocols for handling conflict are understood and adhered to. A prime example of the performing stage is in Remember the Titans when the team is winning game after game after game. There is a montage that shows the team dominating other teams and celebrating together while the whole town gets involved in their success. This is performing. Everything is clicking and everyone is doing their job at a high level. In Bunny's special class, Naaman's group works together without conflict to solve a puzzle. Each member of the team understood their role and were able to execute effectively. They each had a task to perform, communicated well with each other, and supported each other in the work. The team was willing to put aside their differences and come together to win the competition, or in other words, achieve a common goal. This is performing at its finest. The final stage is adjourning or mourning. This is when the group has completed their purpose and disbands. It is sometimes called mourning because it can be bittersweet. Since the team has been through a lot together and accomplished their goal, leaving that feeling of support and camaraderie behind is difficult. When Dookie is told he's ready to move on to the 9th grade, he's not happy. He's confused and unsure of himself. He even wonders if he did something wrong. In the special program, there are also mixed emotions. At first, some of the students seem happy when they hear that after the test, they won't have to be in the special program anymore. However, most of the students seem to agree that the program was a good thing. There is a somber look on many of their faces when Bunny asks the kids what they thought of the program. They agree with Naaman when he says it was alright, but are saddened when he says that maybe it was time to move on. By the final class, many of the kids who were upset they were in the special program to begin with were now upset that they had to go to regular classes because they didn't want their special program to end. Team dynamics are important because as a leader, a big part of what you need to do is manage personalities within your team and figure out how to get everyone to operate as a single unit. While the Tuckman ladder is by no means a perfect model and has its share of criticisms, it does help us to understand that on a basic level, teams that don't move forward towards a single purpose are doomed to stay in one place. Sometimes, for a team to move through the ladder, people may need to be added or removed from the team to keep the group moving towards its end goal. Had Naaman and some of the troubled kids stayed in their classes, they may never have been able to improve, and the regular class would have suffered as well. Had Gary not had the courage to remove Ray from the team, the Titans might not have been able to achieve success and win the championship. Moving your team through the ladder requires courage and a belief that the goal is worth it in the end. You may not even know exactly what the team will look like or how the end goal will be achieved, but it's important for you to trust the process just as much as you trust the team to come together.